Joining me now is Iowa Congressman Zach Nunn, a member of the House Financial Services Committee. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Your thoughts on Hakeem Jeffries now wanting 3 years extension for Obamacare subsidies?
Yeah, Maria, I mean, this is really tragic. Here we are, 40 days and 40 nights. Even Noah's Ark got an earlier reprieve than the American people did here. The reality is that Hakeem Jeffries and the Democrats are part of this extreme group pivoting towards their base after getting effectively nothing with the pain they inflicted for over 2 months now on the American public. And it's not just air travel that was delayed, families not being able to go home for the holidays. It's our air traffic controllers, our TSA agents, 2,000 National Guardsmen from my home state forward deployed, missing multiple paychecks, and families back home asking, they don't know whether to fill up the minivan or to fill up the refrigerator because they didn't know when this was going to end. I'm happy to see that members on both the Senate and the House came over and supported the Republican plan passed way back in September. Just continue funding the government. We can have these important policy conversations, but we have to do it when Americans are getting paid, can travel, and we have a government that's functioning again. Well, Hakeem on this side has decided to go and, to his extreme left base on this, and it's a civil war in the Democratic Party.
Well, I mean, obviously, it has been a real divide within the Democrats, but I just wanted to get your take, being on the Financial Services Committee, what this shutdown means for the economy. Because we've got estimates that the shutdown likely cost the U.S. economy $15 billion a week, and that we had Kevin Hassett on recently. He said it's going to take economic growth down from his expectations of 3% to now just 1.5% for the fourth quarter. You're on financial services. What are the most important impacts that you see from this government shutdown on the macro story?
This is a direct impact on affordability, particularly on food and on affordable housing. Two issues that are at top of the mind for every voter, regardless of party. It's a direct reflection of the hundreds of billions of dollars that were lost over the last 40+ days. And as a result, we're going to have to dig out of this hole. Now, I am happy to see that coming up in January, the Republican passed plan that's going to be able to give $13,000 tax credits to families that will reduce, the inflation rate. And also, we'll look at ways that we can get more money onto main streets and into people's pockets. Deploying cash back into hometowns with lower tax rates is probably the best way we can catch up as we head into the new year. But the reality is it didn't have to be like this, Maria. Democrats made a gamble, they lost, and they cost taxpayers hundreds of billions of dollars.
Unbelievable. Let me get your take on the farmers, because President Trump has been promising a bailout for farmers. They've been hit hard by tariffs and rising costs for fertilizer and equipment. The White House reportedly looking at $10 to $15 billion in aid, funded through the tax revenue, which were generated by those very tariffs, Congressman. You say the farmers do not want a bailout. You're calling for long-term solutions. What are those solutions?
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a two-hand approach on this, Maria. First and foremost, farmers don't want a subsidy from the taxpayer. They want to be able to participate fairly in global markets. I think that's what President Trump really showed when he went and met with President Xi in South Korea about China being, blocking the sale of things like U.S. soybeans, corn, hogs, as well as beef. We've been able to see a commitment by China to buy 25 metric tons of soybeans, half of that before the end of this year. That's helping drive up commodity prices here in the United States, but it's making sure that when farmers are harvesting, they've got the ability to start buying for planting season coming up this spring. We also recognize that we want to be able to participate here domestically. That means keeping commodity prices at a high enough level that family farms can continue to be successful. That begins by driving down input costs. We urge the administration to put things like potash and phosphate, two critical minerals necessary for fertilizer on the front end, to be put on the critical minerals list. The president heard us. He executed, and now we have better access to this, both holding China accountable on a foreign market where we've now got hundreds of billions of dollars in trade deals just in the last month alone, is going to help farmers in what has really been a rough growing season. We've had record yields, but also record low prices. The two together do not pair well.
Yeah, great points. President Trump, meanwhile, signed the Fostering the Future executive order yesterday, which supports foster youth transitioning out of the system and into adulthood. Our First Lady, Melania Trump, launched the initiative, and of course, she was there yesterday. Watch this.
Too many people from foster care community end up homeless. It was 2021 when I developed the idea to establish an impactful platform with an important mission to provide individuals from the foster care community the ability to secure an entry-level job position and, in turn, financial independence.
I couldn't believe this. Nearly half of the foster kids never graduate high school, just 4% obtaining their four-year degrees. Congressman, you joined the president yesterday for this announcement. 2 of your 6 children were adopted through foster care. Tell us about this and your feelings behind it.
Well, Maria, I'm thrilled about this. And I have never seen both President Trump and Melania so happy to be able to really take care of families. I mean, this is what being a compassionate conservative is all about. And it gives a great pathway for these foster kiddos who have grown up in a system through no fault of their own, a real opportunity at lifelong success. It helps on the housing front, it helps on the education front, and it makes sure that the foster kids and adopted kids have a pathway to be successful, both growing up, but then when they get out on their own. And one of the things I think Melania has really led here is taking care of families. I'm a co-chair of the Foster Caucus. She helped champion our $5,000 tax credit for any family who wants to adopt, because nothing is more tragic than watching a grandparent, a family member, or a foster family try and bring a new kiddo into their family and then realizing that there's tens of thousands of dollars in legal costs up front. This is a huge step forward, and really it's going to help a new generation of kids have a successful future after they age out of the foster care system.
That is wonderful. Zach, Nunn, thank you so much for all of your efforts there. Good to talk with you this morning, Congressman. Thank you.